Hi, welcome back to the channel. So today we are talking about trends again, and the trend we're talking about is a glossy statement eye. So stay tuned and I'm going to show you how to create this incredible look. Right, okay, so another trend today, and the trend I am talking about today is glossy statement eyes. So this trend was all over the catwalks last season. We used gloss on the eyes, we used it on the skin, we used it on the lips. So this eye I'm going to create was actually something that I saw on the catwalk at Marc Jacobs, and it was a glossy statement eye, and it was very heavily influenced by the 80s. So it had kind of a real gorgeous metallic colourful feel to it, as well as the gloss. So we're going to start first with a clean eyelid, and of course the all important lash curl. Give those lashes a really firm press with the lash curlers. On my skin, by the way, I have Sheer Glow foundation, and I have a little bit of Copacabana illuminator just on top of the cheekbones. So then we're going to go in with the Dual Intensity eyeshadow. So this was the eyeshadow that was used on the show, and it just happens to be my favourite eyeshadow ever. It's Desdemona, so it's this one here. It's a Dual Intensity eyeshadow, so this formula you can use wet and dry. And I'm going to take it with the 42 blending brush, and we're just going to start to build that colour up loosely on the lid. Now, because we're going to gloss this, you don't want to put too much pigment on the lid, because otherwise when you apply the gloss it's going to end up looking a little bit kind of bitty, and the product might roll. So just build up quite a sheer layer with your brush. I absolutely love this colour. It's a really gorgeous kind of pinky purple, so it brings out every eye colour. If you've got green eyes, it's going to make them a lot more green, like mine. If you've got blue eyes, again, it'll just make the blue eyes a lot more intense. And brown eyes, it will deepen the colour. So it really is super wearable and really kind of quite a statement eyeshadow for any eye colour. So I'm just taking that kind of up into the socket. It is a glossy statement eye, so you do want to commit to quite a lot of colour. Now I'm going to go in with the 44 now, and just where I have missed that area close to the lash line, I'm just going to press the colour on top of that. Then we're going to use the 44, and we're going to run Desdemona just underneath. Again, just kind of building it up gradually, so you've not got too much of a thick layer of product. We're not going to put gloss on underneath, so you can maybe make it a little bit more intense under here if you want. But this is the kind of shape you want to create, so just kind of a really nice, kind of almost a little bit winged, diffused edge. So that's the first layer of colour. Then we're going to use Phoebe. So this is another Dual Intensity eyeshadow, and we're going to use this one wet. Now with this formula, when you use it wet, you get a much more intense pigment, and the colours actually turn a little bit like a liquid metal. So you get a real kind of high intense colour payoff. I just used a water spray, and I just sprayed the back of my hand. So you don't want the product to be really wet, you just want it to be a little bit damp on the brush. And this is the wet dry shadow brush, the number 49. And with Phoebe, I'm going to press that on the centre of the eyelid, and this is going to give it a real kind of metallic finish. So, I mean, the great thing about these is if you don't want to commit to putting a gloss on your lid, this kind of metallic colour will give you the feeling of a gloss anyway. So you could maybe just use this on its own. I'm going to go the whole way, and I'm going to use a gloss because I'm obsessed with glossy eyes at the moment. So that's Phoebe, that's how it should look. Then we're going to line the eyes. So the liner I've chosen for this look is a Blue Lotus. It's a velvet eyeliner, and I've chosen it because, number one, it looks really 80s, and number two, it's kind of got this amazing like violet undertone to it, so it really looks incredible with this particular eyeshadow combo. So I'm just going to line the underneath. I'm really going to kind of work it into the lash line as well. This kind of look on the Marc Jacobs show was all about that girl that was a little bit worn in, you know, she'd been partying all night in her glossy metallic eyes. So you can just kind of bring it a little bit down onto the lash line as well. So just underneath here. Oh, I love that. I might start wearing this kohl liner a bit more often. Okay, so just going to clean up a little bit just there, and also add a little bit more Desdemona. Where are you? Just going to add a little bit more of that in the socket. You can never have too much Desdemona. Just run that underneath. Then, before we apply the gloss, we are going to apply our Audacious Mascara. So, a couple of coats of this to the top and the bottom lashes. The girls on the show actually wore false lashes, so you can add a false lash with this eye makeup. I think if you're going to wear it for, you know, you're going to try this look for like an evening look, I don't know whether I would put a false lash on with it, just because the glossy texture might interfere with the glue on the eyelash, and you might get some lift off, which might not be the best look. So I would probably leave the lashes off in this instance. So just a couple of coats of Audacious Mascara is absolutely fine. We'll do top and bottom. Then after you apply your mascara, let's just have a look at the rest of the face. So with my eyebrows, I've used my Brow Perfector in Case. I am going to apply some Radiant Creamy Concealer under the eyes. So just a couple more dots of that. As I explained earlier on in the video, I have used my Sheer Glow foundation and some Copacabana Illuminator just on the top of the cheekbones to highlight and just give a little bit of a glossy finish to the skin as well. So, Honey Radiant Creamy Concealer under the eyes, and then I'm going to use a little bit of custard on top as well. So you can see just adding that concealer just really kind of pulls the eye together and just makes it look even more intense. A little bit of custard. I'll use a brush to blend this actually rather than my finger. Just find it a little bit easier sometimes using a brush when I've got an eye look on. Okay. Then for a little bit of colour on the cheeks, I'm not going to go too wild because the eye is so such a statement and so dramatic. We're going to use the Narcissist Cheek Palette. So as you've seen in an early video, I am still obsessed with this palette. We'll use a little bit of Hot Sand, which is the shimmer colour, just on top of that Copacabana. And then, I think we'll probably use a little bit of this tone here, which is Luster, just for a nice kind of fairly natural looking contour. The girls on the show literally just wore a little bit of gloss on top of the cheekbones. Now, I think for an everyday look, or if you're recreating this trend, then you might want a little bit of colour. I know I would. So something like this works really, really well. Then, I know you're dying to see the gloss, but before we do that, again, we're just going to add another little element, and that is a lip. So I've already balmed the lip, and I am using El Agua. So these are the velvet lip liners. They're very soft, easy to use. So I'm just going to trace the outline of the lip and just fill it in. I'm not going to put too much definition on the lip. The girls on the show, were just balmed. If that happens, then just get the sharpener and just sharpen the top. The sharpener with these is actually included on the end, so you can just kind of twist it around like this, and the pencil is sharp for you without needing to use a sharpener. So I'm just going to line the lip with that. Then use my finger just to tap off the excess, and go in with a little bit of unlaced velvet lip glide. I actually love this kind of lip with a purple eye. So that lip liner has got a little bit of an undertone of purple, and then you've got the pink velvet lip glide on top. So I want the lip to look a little bit kind of balmed, which is why I'm using my finger to tissue it off. Now the eyelashes are dry, just going to go back in with the lash curlers. Favourite trick of mine, this, just to give them some extra lift and curl. Then the gloss. So with this, you can use 8-hour cream as long as it's unperfumed, or you can actually just use a clear lip gloss. I'm going to go in with the lip gloss. This is XXX. I'm going to use it because it's what we used on the show. If you want a more comfortable feel, then go for the 8-hour cream, because it is more balm-like and it'll just feel a little bit more easy to wear on the lid. Let's go back in with our wet dry shadow brush. You can use your finger if you want to put the gloss on, but I do prefer to use a brush because you get a little bit more control where you place the gloss. And we're just going to cover the actual eyelid, so I'm not going to take it up into the socket, just over the lid like that, just tap in the brush, and then the same on the other side. So great. I think a glossy lid is literally my favourite trend, one of my favourite trends this season, along with the diffused lip that I did on the channel last week. So if you've not seen that video, then do have a look. Okay, and I think that is it. So just on the mobile part of the eyelid, you want to apply that gloss. I think experiment with the 8-hour cream, or experiment with the gloss, whichever one you think is easier for you to use. It's not the most long-lasting look, I have to admit. You know, it's probably going to last you half an hour of your night out, but give it a try anyway. Use the gloss on its own on a bare lid and pair it with a really gorgeous bold lip. Absolutely love that as well. Yeah, hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned, let me know what other trends you'd like to see on the channel, and I will see you soon.